Disruptive news, twisted views, when I wanna hear the news anywhere, when I wanna hear news everywhere, when I wanna hear the news, Ruption I go. As it happens, stud we need know. Every other week is a Ruption show. Breaking news, look no more. Ruption, Ruption, news that is a commotion. Ruption, Ruption, twisted views is the notion. Ruption news is the one I choose. Ripping, gripping point of views. Take the news, extract the truth. Twist it, flip it, give it back to you. Ruption news, where the truth never gets in the way of a good story. Ruption, Ruption, news that is a commotion. Ruption, Ruption, twisted views is the notion. Ruption, Ruption, jangled nerves and emotion. Ruption, Ruption, local and across the ocean. Ruption, Ruption. In December 2020, the visa of former top cop Reneto Adams was revoked. Shortly thereafter, visas were granted to over 144 mongrel dogs who migrated to better lives overseas under an initiative dubbed the Mongrel Migration Movement. This has not gone down well with the feared crime fighter, and word on the streets is that other mongrels who are still here awaiting visas are fearful that in addition to sighting rock stones, they will now have to sight bullets. Joining us live in studio is the man himself to discuss this emerging issue, Reneto Valentino de Cordova Adams. SSP Adams, welcome to Ruption and thank you for joining us. How are you keeping since news emerged that over 144 mongrels have been granted visas?
Thank you very much. I'm exceedingly well. I'm happy, I'm excited, stimulated. Jamaica, good afternoon.
Do you feel disrespected that these mongrels have gone overseas and your visa has been cancelled?
Yes, of course. When you observe what's happening, I would have wished that I was there.
SSP, do you believe this was a malicious action on the part of the embassy?
Yes, of course, and it's deliberately done so by the trading and all that.
Word in the streets that the mongrels are fearful that you will shoot them over jealousy. Talk to us about that.
And one of the reasons why they are afraid to is the fact that they are weak and timid.
Local and international animal agencies, as well as the consulate offices, have all defended their process of determining whether the visas go to the mongrels or you. How do you respond to that, SSP?
My intelligence and my information, that's not the case in all instances that are taking place now.
Given this biased treatments towards the mongrels over you, do you have any warning shots, I beg your pardon, advice for the officers at the embassies?
So I would implore them to research what is morality and to introduce and to practice a high degree of morality in their life.
SSP Adams, how do you plan to deal with this obviously embarrassing situation?
Murder is done now to settle any dispute.
But aren't you afraid that citizens will report you to the police if you're seen attacking these mongrels?
All the police do, they say nowadays, is to write down paper and give you a notice that you made the report, and nothing else is done in many instances.
Well, joining us live to discuss the mongrels' plan of action is the managing director of the Jamaica Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Madam Managing Director, welcome to Ruption and thank you for joining us. Could you introduce yourselves to our viewers and tell us how the mongrels plan to respond to this operation by SSP Adams?
So my name is Pamela Lawson and I'm the Managing Director for the JSPCA, which is the Jamaica Society for the prevention of cruelty to animals. Dogs are territorial, plain and simple. They're protecting property. If they consider an area or their territory, they are going to protect it.
Stay tuned to Ruption for this dog fight. Detractors of Prime Minister Andrew Brogard Holness have constantly ridiculed his pre-election promise that Jamaicans could sleep with their windows and doors open under a Jamaica Labour Party government. Some have complained that they have awakened to empty houses after testing the Prime Minister's promise. Still others have complained that they can't even have church with the doors open, given recent hellish incidents on the sacred grounds. Jamaicans today, however, can rest assured that the Prime Minister has finally identified the long-sought-after solution to Jamaica's surging crime and violence.
In the last few decades, our music has been overtaken by violence.
In our art form, in our music, and in our culture. In as much as you are free to reflect what is happening in the society, you also have a duty to place it in context.
Unofficial reports are that there is a wave of jubilation and excitement sweeping across the Jamaica Labour Party as they believe that if violent music is curtailed, Jamaica could see a reduction of over 65% in murders. Meanwhile, sources connected to the People's National Party's headquarters at 89 Old Hope Road have informed Ruption that the Jamaica Labour Party should take no credit for this solution, as it was the PNP who found it first and had it in their pipeline. A police officer identified as Constable Lickfront, who last month was said to be on a suicide watch after being ordered interdicted by Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson, is back on the front line. Constable Lickfront, who was seen in a viral video licking his fingers while feasting on a dish of rum and raisin ice cream served to him by a female companion at the back of what appeared to be a police service vehicle, was ordered interdicted for eating on the job. However, the Jamaica Police Federation, who represents rank-and-file members of the constabulary, quickly intervened, and after an extensive high-level investigation, it was concluded that the bylaws of the force do not prevent an officer from eating on the job, nor did it force an officer to determine what to devour on their lunch break. Following news of his reinstatement, Constable Lickfront was spotted in a celebratory mood.
No one got God, no one got Billy, licky licky. No one got God, no one got Billy, nyami nyami. No licky licky, no nyami nyami, too greedy. No licky licky, no nyami nyami, soon fight them. But river that me said them losing boy.
Meanwhile, the police is appealing to female residents in and around the Manchonil area in Portland, where Constable Lickfront is stationed, to desist from committing petty offenses with the hope of being handcuffed by the Licky Licky constable. The Jamaica Association of Prostitutes and Whores, JPW, is demanding that Prime Minister Holness and Health Minister Christopher Tufton stimulate its members and provide well-needed lubrication for its business. Mourning the stiff time facing its members, in a hardcore session with Ruption News, the JPW revealed that its members were experiencing extreme dryness as a result of the tightness of the curfew measures imposed by the government. The association has lobbied the government for exemption as essential workers from curfew restrictions, given the importance of their service to the health and wellness of Jamaica's male population, especially husbands. They have also formally applied to be included in the government's new e-commerce national delivery system, ENDS, which would allow clients to order via phones and over the internet and have the ladies delivered directly to them. In news overseas, Russian President Vladimir Putin is president for life. The 68-year-old president, having been in office since year 2000, recently approved the legislation that will keep him in office until the year 2036, by which time he would have attained the tender age of 83. The president said his decision to approve such legislation was reached only after extensive and lengthy consultations and deliberations over several months with himself. Liverpool Football Club in the English Premier League, after suffering over 30 long years in the wilderness, and who won the league in the year 2020, a year when the world witnessed all kinds of strange phenomena, has officially confirmed the fortress label attached to its home stadium of Anfield. So much has Anfield become a fortress that not even Liverpool can win there anymore. Liverpool has suffered humiliating defeats, 5 consecutive, to the likes of lonely Burnley, Brighton and Hove Albion, Everton, Manchester City, and Fulham. Following these developments, the hierarchy of the Jamaica Football Federation has officially written to FIFA, football's governing body, to have the Reggae Boys away games at Anfield in the hope of boosting their chances of qualifying for the next World Cup of football. Prison graduate and reggae icon Buju Banton recently launched an all-out verbal assault on Prime Minister Andrew Holness, asserting among other things that attending the University of the West Indies did not mean that Holness was smarter than he, Banton himself, who had graduated from an overseas prison university.
The Jamaican Constitution does not allow the government of Jamaica to use the office of the Prime Minister or any other office to oppress and pressure any citizen at all. Put on your thinking caps and all the way a fool. Not because you go when you go to some place make you smarter than we know. Do not use the office of the Prime Minister or the office of whichever politician it is to pressure the citizens. You are creating tyranny. You are tyrannical. And you are thieves too. Because enough money I get them along the Jamaican people now. You think the 10,000 can feed Jamaican people? Think about that.
While most Jamaicans were at a loss to understand the reason for the uncharacteristic outburst by Banton, Ruption News understands from well-placed sources that Buju Banton's anger was triggered allegedly by the fact that he only received $10,000 out of the promised $3 million for winning the 2020 Festival Song Competition. Multiple calls to the cell phone of Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Babsy-Grange, remain unanswered. You have been watching Ruption, where the truth never gets in the way of a good story. On behalf of the Ruption team, this is Studwin wishing you good health, good wealth, and great sex.
Ruption, news that is a commotion. Ruption, twisted views is the notion. Ruption news is the one I choose. Ripping, gripping point of views. Take the news, extract the truth. Twist it, flip it, give it back to you. Ruption news, where the truth never gets in the way of a good story. Ruption, news that is a commotion. Ruption, twisted views is the notion. Ruption.